It began as an ordinary morning in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, if anything about life deep in the jungle could ever be called ordinary. A team of construction workers had been battling the elements, wildlife, and exhaustion to carve out a new road as part of a Brazilian infrastructure project. It was tough work. The jungle was dense, humid, and full of surprises. They knew the rainforest could be unpredictable, but nothing could have prepared them for what they found that day. One of the workers, Marco, was leading a small team clearing debris when he froze mid-step. In the early light of dawn, lying motionless on the dirt road ahead was an enormous creature. At first, they thought it might be a fallen tree. But then it moved. It was a snake, but not just any snake. This serpent was easily over 25 feet long, its body thicker than a grown man's torso. Even more shocking was the enormous, unnatural bulge in the middle of its belly. It looked like it had swallowed something massive, something far too big for any normal snake to digest. The workers backed away slowly. No one wanted to get close to whatever that was. One man muttered something about a jaguar. Another, half joking, suggested it might be a person. The air around them seemed to grow heavier with fear. Unsure what to do, the foreman radioed the nearest village and asked for help. A local veterinarian, Dr. Raul Oliveira, answered the call. At first, he thought it was a prank. A giant snake blocking the road? You want me to do what? But when the foreman swore on his life that they were serious, Raul grabbed his tranquilizer kit and drove out. By the time he arrived, a small crowd had gathered at a distance. The snake hadn't moved much. It looked sluggish, possibly in pain. Still, its sheer size was intimidating. And then, without warning, it lashed out. One of the younger workers had tried to sneak closer for a better photo. The snake sensed the movement and suddenly reared up, snapping at the air. The young man fell backward in terror. Fortunately, the snake couldn't move quickly with such a massive object inside its belly. But the message was clear: this was no safe situation. Raul acted fast. He instructed the workers to stay back and prepped his tranquilizer. It took 2 heavy shots to finally sedate the snake enough to approach. As it slowly slumped into unconsciousness, Raul put on gloves and carefully examined the bulge. It was the size of a bathtub, he later told reporters. Whatever it had eaten, it was not a normal part of its diet. And it was dying because of it. There was no choice but to open the snake's belly. The alternative was letting it suffer and die in agony. As Raul made the first incision, the smell hit them like a wall, a pungent mix of rot, stomach acid, and jungle decay. Several men turned away, gagging. One vomited. Then came the big reveal. Inside the snake's stomach, packed tightly inside its body, was a metal cooler, a large industrial cool box used by the workers to store food and meat. It had been left unattended the night before, and someone had carelessly forgotten to lock the lid. Apparently, a slab of spoiled meat sitting on top had attracted the snake. Mistaking it for prey, it swallowed the entire box whole. The size, shape, and materials had caused internal injuries and digestive failure. The snake was dying not from poison or a predator, but from a man-made object it couldn't pass. The workers were stunned. What began as fear turned to guilt. This majestic, ancient predator, a creature who had survived generations in the unforgiving jungle, had been brought to the brink by human carelessness. With the snake sedated, Raul and the crew carefully cleaned the wound, though its fate remained uncertain. The animal was later transported to a wildlife rescue center. Whether it survived or not remains unclear. Some reports say it passed away days later due to internal damage. Others claim it's recovering in a sanctuary under careful observation. The story went viral. Photos of the massive snake and the cooler spread across the internet like wildfire. News stations covered it as a cautionary tale, not just about the dangers of wild animals, but about how even the smallest human actions can have devastating consequences. Raul became something of a local hero. The construction workers gained a new respect for the jungle they were cutting through. And somewhere, deep in the forest, other creatures surely watched, wary now of the strange things humans bring with them. The Amazon had reminded everyone it's full of secrets. And sometimes those secrets come with scales, fangs, and a mystery inside that no one wants to uncover again.